My name is Blake Stanton. I am 28 years old. I was standing in the middle of my mom's living room during my older sister's birthday party, surrounded by balloons and half-eaten cake on the coffee table, when my mom turned to me with that familiar sharp glare and said, "Blake, stop being so selfish for once and just sign the damn paper. It's for the family. Not like you have anything better to contribute." Her words hit like a slap right in front of everyone, including my dad, who just shifted uncomfortably on the couch without saying a word, and my sister Harlan, who smirked like she'd won some secret game. I felt my face burn the room going quiet except for the low hum of chatter from relatives in the kitchen. I'd driven all the way from my apartment in downtown Seattle to this suburban house in the outskirts thinking maybe this time things would be different, but no, my mom Gloria always found a way to make me feel like the outsider in my own family. The paper she was shoving at me was some authorization form for a family LLC she'd set up supposedly for investments. But I knew better. It was another scheme to tie me into her messes while she poured everything into Harlan. I snatched my phone and texted back to her earlier message demanding I come over urgently. "Can't right now, busy catching up with Aunt Rebecca." It was petty, sure, but after years of her treating me like a backup plan, it felt like a tiny rebellion. What I didn't know was that by the next morning, that text would bring sheriff's deputies to my door, turning my life upside down. Have you ever had a mom who could twist your every move into something against her? Like no matter what you do, it's never enough, unless it serves her agenda. I'd love to hear if you've dealt with that. Drop a comment below. The party had started innocently enough that Tuesday evening. Harlan's birthday fell midweek, but my mom insisted on throwing a big gathering anyway, inviting extended family and a few of Harlan's work friends to their house in a quiet neighborhood near Lake Washington. The place was decorated with string lights and fresh flowers, everything picture perfect as always when it was for Harlan. I showed up after work still in my slacks and blouse from my job as a customer success rep at a tech startup in Seattle's South Lake Union District. It's not glamorous. I handle client onboarding and retention for software apps, but it pays the bills and gives me independence, something my mom resents, because it means I'm not at her beck and call anymore. As soon as I walked in, my mom pulled me aside before I could even hug Harlan. "We need to talk urgently," she'd said in a low voice, her eyes darting like she was plotting. Gloria Stanton is in her late 50s with perfectly styled hair and an air of someone who always knows best. She runs a small real estate agency flipping properties around the Puget Sound area, and she's convinced herself she's a business genius. My dad Patrick is quieter, a retired accountant who mostly nods along to whatever she says to keep the peace. That night, she handed me the form explaining it was for a new venture to secure our legacy. But I spotted my name listed as a co-signer for potential loans. "Why me?" I asked. "Harlan's the one you always say has the head for this stuff." My mom's face tightened. "Because Harlan's busy with her career and family, Blake. You're single, no kids, it's not like you're tied down. Just sign it. It'll protect all of us." There it was, the dig at my life choices, implying I was lesser because I hadn't married or popped out grandkids yet. Harlan, at 32, had it all in my mom's eyes, married to her husband, Derek Voss, a marketing exec with a toddler niece I adored, but rarely saw without drama. My mom had helped them buy their fancy house in Bellevue, co-signed their mortgage, even babysat constantly, while I'd scraped by on student loans for college and my first apartment deposit without a dime from her. I refused to sign, stuffing the paper back into her hand. "I'm not comfortable with this, Mom. It feels off." She rolled her eyes, muttering loud enough for nearby aunts to hear. "Always so dramatic, Blake. If you cared about this family, you'd step up instead of acting like a child." The humiliation stung, especially as Harlan chimed in with a laugh. "Come on, sis, don't make a scene, it's my birthday." I excused myself to the backyard needing air, and that's when I sent the text about Aunt Rebecca. Rebecca Dutton. My mom's younger sister by 5 years had always been the kind one reaching out after family blow-ups with supportive calls. We'd grabbed coffee a few times recently, bonding over how Gloria could be so controlling. Mentioning her was my way of saying I had allies outside my mom's circle. The rest of the party dragged on forced smiles, small talk about Harlan's promotion at her ad firm, my mom's boasts about the latest property flip. I left early, driving back to my cozy one-bedroom in Capitol Hill, exhausted but relieved to be out. My phone buzzed with missed calls from unknown numbers, but I ignored them, crashing into bed. Big mistake. Wednesday morning around 6:30, a firm knock echoed through my apartment. I stumbled to the door in my pajamas, peeking through the peephole to see two uniformed deputies on my landing. My heart raced. What the hell? Blake Stanton, the taller one, called. I opened the door, the cool Seattle mist seeping in. Yes, that's me. They introduced themselves, badges glinting, and said they were there about a complaint filed last night. Words like harassment and unwanted contact hung in the air, making my stomach drop. Apparently, my mom had reported my text as threatening, twisting it into me colluding with her sister to undermine the family. They asked questions about my relationship with her, why I'd mentioned Aunt Rebecca if I had any grudges. I answered calmly, explaining it was just a family disagreement, but inside I was fuming. This was her way of punishing me for not signing, dragging law enforcement into our mess. After they left, warning me to keep things civil, I stood there shaking. My neighbor across the hall gave me a weird look as she headed out for her jog. In a city like Seattle, rumors travel fast in professional circles, especially since my mom's real estate world overlapped with tech through networking events. I called my best friend from work, Lisa, who'd become like a sister to me. "What the actual fuck?" she said when I told her. "Your mom's unhinged, get a lawyer, Blake." Lisa had heard my stories before, how my mom always favored Harlan, giving her the nicer clothes growing up, paying for her wedding, while telling me to figure it out for my own milestones. I knew I needed help, so I reached out to a lawyer I'd found online during a previous family spat over inheritance talks. Her name was Carla Reyes Sharp, and no nonsense, with an office in Pioneer Square. I met her that afternoon, spilling everything: the party, the form, the text, the deputies. She read my mom's original message and my reply. "This is coercion," Carla said, leaning back. "She's building a narrative to pressure you into complying. Has she done this before?" I nodded, thinking back to my childhood. To understand why this hit so hard, you have to go back to how it all started. Growing up in that same house near Lake Washington, I was always the problem child in my mom's eyes. Harlan was the golden one, straight A's, prom queen, the daughter who mirrored my mom's ambitions. Mom would say things like, "Why can't you be more like your sister Blake? She's going places." I'd try joining sports, getting good grades, but it was never enough. One memory sticks out. When I was 12, I saved my allowance for months to buy a bike, only for my mom to give it to Harlan because she needs it for her new club. Dad just shrugged, saying, "Your mother's in charge of these things." It taught me early that my efforts were invisible unless they benefited them. By high school, the favoritism ramped up. Mom paid for Harlan's college tuition outright, but when my turn came, she said, "Loans build character, you'll appreciate it more." I worked 2 jobs through community college before transferring to the University of Washington, graduating with a business degree and mountains of debt. Meanwhile, Harlan got the family car, the down payment on her first condo. Mom's excuse: "Harlan's responsible. You're too flighty." It wasn't true. I'd been the one handling family errands, picking up groceries, even helping with Mom's paperwork for her agency when she was busy. But she saw me as the lesser daughter, someone to use, not invest in. After college, I moved out at 22, landing my first tech job as a support specialist. That's when the demand started escalating. Mom would call needing just a small loan for Harlan's wedding or to co-sign for a car because family helps family. I'd give in, sometimes guilty from her manipulations. "After all I've done for you, Blake, this is how you repay me." It drained me financially and emotionally, leading to therapy sessions where I unpacked how her constant belittling made me doubt myself. Aunt Rebecca was a lifeline during those years. She'd call after overhearing Mom's rants saying, "You're not the problem, honey. Gloria's always been hard on the ones who challenge her." Back in Carla's office, she advised no direct contact. Document everything. She's likely in financial trouble and needs your signature to bail out. A chill ran through me. A week earlier, Mom had left a voicemail. "Blake, I need to clear up some old paperwork from when you lived here, should be quick." I hadn't responded, sensing a trap. Carla pulled records and confirmed my fears. There was unusual activity on old family accounts tied to my name. That evening, my phone lit up with texts from cousins and Harlan. "What's going on? Mom says you're unstable, harassing her." My chest ached. This was leaking into the family chat. Harlan added, "Aunt Rebecca's stirring trouble too. Stay out of it." I felt isolated, but Aunt Rebecca called later. "Your mom's been calling everyone Blake, saying you're out to hurt her. She's scared because her agency's struggling." It didn't comfort me. It confirmed she was smearing me to maintain control. By Thursday, the fallout hit my work. I arrived at the office to find a 1-star review on our company's Glassdoor page. Unprofessional rep made me uncomfortable. It wasn't direct, but the timing screamed Mom. She knew people in tech through her flips. Then a client I'd been nurturing canceled a meeting citing personal reasons. That was $300 in commission gone. My boss pulled me aside. "Blake, everything okay? Heard some chatter." The shame burned. I'd built my career from scratch, earning promotions through hard work, only for Mom to undermine it. I called Carla, furious. "It's costing me clients." She stayed calm. "Screenshot it, this is evidence." Later, Aunt Rebecca met me for coffee at a spot in Ballard. Her voice was tight. "Gloria's asking how I know your schedule, mentioning your work spots." Doubt flickered. Had Rebecca slipped info? "Are you talking to her?" I asked. She paused, then said, "Only to shut her down. She still has access to old family calendars." I apologized, but it highlighted how Mom made everyone question loyalties. That night, Carla emailed, "Pulled your credit. There's a line of credit opened recently tied to your mom's LLC using your name." My heart pounded. It was for $20,000 forged from an old authorization I'd signed as a teen for emergencies. Mom had treated me like a financial safety net, switching me on when her deals failed, especially those propping up Harlan's lifestyle. I dug through old boxes I'd stored from home, finding faded forms in Mom's handwriting. Sitting on my floor, I laughed bitterly. How had I been so blind? Aunt Rebecca came over, hesitant. She asked me to sign something too, to clear it up. I refused, and she accused me of choosing sides. We hugged. For once, I wasn't alone. Carla outlined the plan: gather more proof, then confront lawfully. Mom had a networking event next week, speaking on real estate ethics at a Seattle chamber luncheon. The irony stung. "We'll expose there," Carla said. I agreed, tired of her games. The week leading up to the chamber luncheon felt like walking through quicksand. Every step forward pulled me deeper into my mom's web of manipulation. After that meeting with Carla, I tried to focus on work, burying myself in client calls and reports at the office, but the anxiety gnawed at me constantly. My mom didn't stop. If anything, she ramped up the pressure, as if sensing I was building a case against her. That Thursday night, after a long day troubleshooting a software glitch for a major account, I got home to find a voicemail from her. Her voice was syrupy sweet at first, the kind she used when trying to guilt me into compliance. "Blake, honey, I know things got heated at the party, but we need to sort this out. Come over tomorrow, it's important for all of us. Harlan's counting on you too." Then the tone shifted sharper. "Don't make me involve more people. You're embarrassing the family with your stubbornness." I didn't respond per Carla's orders, but it kept me up half the night staring at the rain-streaked window of my apartment. The next morning, Friday, the escalation hit harder. I logged into work and found an email from HR. We've received an anonymous tip about potential conflicts of interest involving family business ties. Please schedule a meeting to discuss. My heart sank. It had to be her. My mom knew my company's name from holiday cards I'd sent. She must have looked up the contact info and spun some story about me using work resources for personal schemes. I forwarded it to Carla immediately, who replied, "Classic deflection. Save everything. This strengthens our position." But it didn't make the knot in my stomach loosen. That afternoon during the HR chat, I explained the family drama, vaguely assuring them it was personal and not affecting my performance. They nodded sympathetically, but I could see the doubt my quarterly review was coming up, and this could tank my chances for a raise I desperately needed to pay down those old loans. Worse, the smear campaign spread to my personal life. Harlan texted me that evening. "Mom's worried sick about you, Blake. She says you're unstable hanging out with Aunt Rebecca like it's some conspiracy. Just sign the form and end this." Attached was a screenshot from our family group chat where Mom had posted, "Praying for Blake, she's going through a tough time, but we'll get through as a family." Comments from cousins piled on, "Hang in there," and "Let us know how we can help." It was gaslighting at its finest, painting me as the troubled one while she played the concerned parent. I felt invisible, yet exposed, like everyone was watching me unravel. That night, I canceled plans with a guy I'd been seeing casually, Josh, a software engineer I'd met through work friends. "Family stuff," I told him over text. Truth was, I didn't want to drag him into the mess, and Mom's words echoed in my head, making me question if I was too flighty for anything real. Saturday brought more fallout. I met Aunt Rebecca for brunch at a cozy cafe in Fremont, needing her perspective. She looked exhausted, her usual warm smile strained. "Gloria's been calling nonstop, accusing me of turning you against her. She even threatened to cut me out of Dad's old estate stuff if I don't back off." Our grandfather had left a small trust years ago, mostly handled by Mom, and she'd always dangled it like a carrot. Rebecca sipped her coffee, adding, "She's in deeper trouble than she lets on, her agency's losing clients, bad flips eating into savings. That's why she needs your name on that LLC. It's collateral for loans to bail out Harlan's house payments." Harlan and Derek had overextended on their Bellevue home, and Mom had been funneling money their way, using family assets as leverage. Hearing it confirmed made my blood boil. Why was I the scapegoat for their bad decisions? We talked for hours, piecing together patterns from our childhood. Rebecca remembered how Mom had favored Harlan, even then buying her dance lessons while telling me to earn mine through chores. "It's because you remind her of herself, Blake, the independent one who doesn't need approval. She resents that." It was a revelation, but painful. Mom's deep dislike wasn't just imagined. As we left, my phone buzzed with a call from Dad. I answered hesitantly. "Blake, your mother's upset." He said, his voice tired. "Just come talk. We don't want this getting uglier." "No. How are you?" Or acknowledgement of her actions, just more pressure to fold. I hung up, tears stinging, feeling like the lesser child all over again. By Sunday, the stress manifested physically. I woke with a migraine, the kind that blurred my vision and made focusing impossible. I called out sick from a weekend shift I'd picked up for extra cash, then spent the day in therapy via video call. My therapist, Dr. Ellis, helped unpack it. "Your mom's behavior is abusive, Blake, using authority figures like police, work, family to control you. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's survival." We role-played the upcoming confrontation, but doubt crept in. What if exposing her backfired? What if the family sided with her, leaving me truly alone? Monday at work was a nightmare. Another client bailed this time, citing, "Heard some things about reliability." I knew Mom's network reached far. Real estate agents talked to tech execs at mixers. My boss pulled me in again. "Blake, performance is slipping. Fix whatever's going on." I nodded, fighting back tears, then stepped out for air. That's when Harlan showed up unannounced at my office lobby, toddler in tow. "We need to talk," she said, thrusting my niece at me like a prop. The little girl cooed, melting my resolve momentarily. Harlan launched in. "Mom's crying every night because of you. Just sign the damn paper, it's not a big deal. You're acting like we're the enemy." Her words echoed Mom's from the party, but sharper laced with entitlement. "Why me?" I asked. "Because your family and family's sacrifice. Mom's always said you're the strong one, prove it." It was manipulation 101, flipping my independence into a tool against me. I refused handing back my niece. "This isn't sacrifice, it's exploitation. Mom's using my credit for your messes." Harlan's face twisted. "You're jealous, always have been." Mom was right. "You'll never be happy until you ruin us." She stormed off, leaving me shaken. That evening, Carla called with updates, more documents uncovered, showing Mom had dipped into old joint accounts from when I was a minor, funneling funds to Harlan's wedding without my knowledge. The line of credit was now at $25,000 with payments defaulting. "She's desperate," Carla said. "The luncheon is our shot, public witnessed irrefutable." The pressure peaked Tuesday. I got a text from an unknown number: "Back off or everyone knows your secrets." Attached was an old photo from college me at a party, looking drunk, harmless but twisted into proof of instability. Mom's doing, no doubt. Then Dad emailed, "Blake, please. Your mother's health is suffering high blood pressure from the stress." Guilt hit hard. Despite everything, I didn't want her hurt, just free from her control. Aunt Rebecca came over that night bringing takeout. "She's escalating because she knows we're close to cracking this," she said. We reviewed Carla's folder, dates, signatures, timelines, proving forgery. Seeing it laid out, I felt a spark of resolve amid the fear. Wednesday morning, I woke determined. The luncheon was tomorrow. No turning back. But as I headed to work, my phone rang. Harlan again. "Mom's in the hospital," she sobbed. "Chest pains. This is your fault." Panic surged. Was it real or another ploy? I called Dad, who confirmed, "She's stable, but doctors say stress-related." The timing was too perfect, right before the event. Carla advised, "Verify independently." I did, calling the hospital. Yes, admitted for observation. Guilt warred with suspicion. Had my resistance pushed her over the edge, or was this the ultimate manipulation to make me cave? That afternoon, I visited against Carla's advice. The hospital room smelled of antiseptic. Mom pale in bed, Dad hovering. Harlan glared from the corner. Mom's eyes lit when she saw me, but not with warmth, with calculation. "Blake, finally. Sign the form, end this nonsense so I can rest." No apology, just demand. Her hand shook as she pointed to papers on the tray table, the same LLC authorization. It hit me even here, she was initiating the attack, using her illness to corner me. "No," I said quietly. "This stops now." Her face contorted. "Ungrateful? After everything, raising you, sacrificing for you." Harlan jumped in. "See, she's heartless." Dad sighed but said nothing. I left, tears streaming but with clarity. This was the turning point. I wouldn't be her pawn anymore. Back home, Carla confirmed. "Hospital records show mild anxiety, not critical. She's playing it up." The discovery solidified my decision. Tomorrow at the luncheon we'd expose her. As I lay in bed, rain pattering outside, doubt lingered. What if this destroyed us all? But deep down, I knew facing her head-on was the only way to break free. After leaving the hospital that Wednesday afternoon, the Seattle sky had turned a deeper gray rain, threatening as I drove back to my apartment. The visit had crystallized everything: my mom's fake vulnerability, her immediate pivot to demanding my signature even from a hospital bed, Harlan's accusatory glare like I was the villain for finally standing up. It was the spark that turned my lingering doubts into unshakable resolve. No more second-guessing. Tomorrow at the chamber luncheon, we'd lay it all out. I called Carla on the way home, my voice steadier than it had been in days. "She tried to corner me again," I said. "Push the form right there in the room." Carla's response was calm but firm. "That's more evidence her desperation shows. Get some rest. We'll handle this clean in public. That night, sleep came in, fits my mind, replaying childhood scenes where mom's contempt had first taken root. Like the time in middle school when I'd won a science fair award only for her to dismiss it with, "That's nice, Blake, but Harlan's debate team needs funding priorities, you know." Or high school graduation where she spent the whole party boasting about Harlan's college acceptance while barely acknowledging mine. Her deep dislike wasn't subtle. It was in every sidelong glance, every comparison that made me feel ashamed of not being the daughter she wanted. By morning, though, that reflection fueled my anger into purpose. I dressed professionally, simple black slacks, a blouse that said I meant business, and met Carla at a coffee shop near the venue in downtown Seattle. Aunt Rebecca joined us, her face set with determination. "I'm done letting her bully us," she said, clutching a folder of her own evidence. The luncheon was at a sleek hotel ballroom overlooking Elliott Bay banners touting ethics in real estate building trust. The irony hit like a wave as we entered the room, buzzing with agents, investors, and local business folks in suits clinking glasses over plated salads. Mom was already working the crowd, her laugh carrying as she shook hands, looking every bit the polished professional. But when she spotted me near the back, her smile faltered for a split second before hardening into something colder. She strode over, first initiating the attack before the speeches even started. "What are you doing here, Blake?" She hissed low enough not to draw eyes yet. "This is my event. Go home before you embarrass yourself further. And take Rebecca with you. She's no better." Her words dripped with contempt, dismissing us like pests. But I held my ground. "We're here to listen, Mom. About ethics, right?" The chamber president kicked off the program, thanking sponsors, then introduced Mom as a pillar of integrity in our community. She took the podium, confidently launching into her talk on transparency and honest dealings. Every sentence twisted in my gut. How could she stand there preaching while forging my name? Carla waited for a natural pause midway through, then stood, her voice clear and professional. "Excuse me, I'm attorney Carla Reyes, representing Blake Stanton. I have documents that need to be presented formally." The room hushed, chairs scraping as heads turned. Mom froze, her knuckles white on the podium. "This is outrageous!" She snapped, her voice echoing through the mic. "Blake, stop this nonsense, you're ruining everything out of spite." Carla approached, laying out the folder page by page, the forged line of credit for $25,000, old authorizations twisted beyond expiration, bank statements showing funds siphoned to Harlan's accounts. "These prove Ms. Gloria Stanton used her daughter's identity without consent for personal gain, tied to her agency's failing ventures." Murmurs rippled, phones came out, whispers turning to gasps. Aunt Rebecca stood next. "She tried the same with me, false paperwork to cover her tracks. I refused, and she turned vicious." Mom's face drained of color, her eyes darting to the crowd. "Lies. They're jealous, attacking me because they can't succeed on their own." But an investor in the front row, a burly man I'd seen at past events, stood abruptly. "If this is true, I'm out, no deals with fraud." Others nodded, pulling back. One even left the room mid-speech. The fallout was swift. Mom stumbled through the rest of her talk, but the damage was done. Attendees clustered, sharing the documents Carla had copies of. By the end, her agency's partners were distancing themselves, phones buzzing with cancellations. She cornered me outside afterward, rain now falling in sheets. Her voice a venomous whisper. "You ungrateful bitch, after all I've sacrificed, you destroy me. You'll regret this. I'll make sure no one trusts you again." It was her final initiation of attack, but Carla stepped in. Threats noted. Everything's recorded. Harlan arrived minutes later, having been called, her face furious. "How could you?" Blake, Mom's devastated, her blood pressures through the roof, for real now. But even Dad, trailing behind, looked conflicted, muttering, "Gloria, this has gone too far." In the weeks that followed, the consequences unfolded like a slow unraveling. Mom's agency lost major clients, investors pulled funding, leading to a forced sale of properties at a loss, costing her tens of thousands in equity she'd funneled to Harlan. Harlan and Derek faced their own reckoning. Without Mom's bailouts, they downsized their home, selling at a hit and moving to a modest apartment in Tacoma. Harlan called once, sobbing, "We might lose everything because of you." But I saw it differently. Mom's enabling had propped up their irresponsibility, and now they had to stand on their own. Dad reached out sporadically, his voice softer. "Your mother's struggling, Blake. Therapy, maybe." But he didn't push. For once, he seemed to see her role in the mess. As for me, the healing started small but built steadily. Work rebounded. HR dismissed the tip as baseless, and with Carla's help, I disputed the credit line, clearing my report within months. Clients returned impressed by my resilience, and I even got that raise, putting extra toward therapy and a savings account untouched by family drama. Josh and I reconnected. Without the constant stress, I opened up, building something real. Aunt Rebecca became my chosen family. We grabbed dinners weekly, laughing over shared stories, her support a balm against Mom's long-held resentment. I set firm boundaries: no contact with Mom unless through Carla, blocking Harlan's number after one too many guilt trips. Holidays shifted to friends gatherings or quiet trips, like a weekend in the Olympics where I hiked alone, feeling truly free for the first time. What I learned is that family isn't about blood, it's about respect and boundaries. Love shouldn't come with strings or shame. It should lift you, not use you as a stepping stone. My mom saw me as lesser because I wouldn't bend to her control, but choosing myself meant breaking that cycle. I won't let her or anyone hurt or exploit me again. My peace is too hard won. Have you ever had to cut ties with a toxic parent to find your own path? What would you have done in my shoes? Share your stories in the comments. I'd love to hear them.